Hi, I'm Bernard Rose. I'm here at Trailers from Hell, and I want to talk to you today about actually a very remarkable movie that I'm sure most of you have not seen, which is Ken Russell's biopic of Gustav Mahler, which is simply called Mahler. It's one in a long series of biographies of composers, classical composers that Ken Russell did, starting at his days at the BBC. He then moved into feature films with what is probably his best known one, which is The Music Lovers, which is his biopic of Tchaikovsky, which he famously sold to the producer Harry Saltzman by saying it wasn't a biography of Tchaikovsky, it was about a homosexual married to a nymphomaniac.
Stop that! I'll call the attendant.
I'm not dead yet.
All of the Ken Russell musical biopics, they all have an enormously well-researched factual basis. They're made with tremendous knowledge about the music. Ken really understands the music. He's not, although I enjoyed the film, Amadeus is a film made by somebody who doesn't know one end of Mozart from the other. No offense, English film. Ken's films are designed around the music, and in that sense, he was kind of an early inventor of the MTV clip, which he then literally went on to invent when he made Tommy, his version of The Who's rock opera. So I think Ken, he had this incredible facility for putting images to music, and that came out of his background as a dancer. And so he has a kind of choreographer's precision in the way that the extras move in his films. It's always a kind of dance, and it's everything is done to the music. And he has an incredible composer to work with, Gustav Mahler, who wrote this fabulous, overwrought, overdramatic, florid music, which perfectly suits Ken's style.
Do? Marry her? Nothing so drastic. I'll just become a Catholic.
The film is all just emotions and images. It's basically plotless, but it's very, very involving and moving and surreal and kind of fantastic. And highly influential too. Everything from Apocalypse Now to Bob Fosse. A lot of people took a lot of things from Ken Russell without acknowledging him ever. And you know, Ken is a major director who made really important work in the 1970s, who's kind of unacknowledged now, mostly because there's a kind of theatricality and an artificiality about his work that offends mainstream critics who want everything kind of perfect. He constantly does try and break down the fourth wall and make you aware that you're watching a movie, which of course is something that producers and critics loathe beyond belief. They want everything within a sort of narrow, naturalistic package. It doesn't happen in Ken. But it doesn't make it any less moving, it doesn't make it any less involving, it's just a different way of expressing yourself. And I think one of the things that's very sad about movies today is, if you looked at all the films that were up for Oscars last year, if you cut the credits off them, you wouldn't know, and shuffled the directors, you wouldn't know who'd done which, because they're all basically making the same decisions, all covering in the same way. It's all become very, 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 very conventional. What's acceptable in the mainstream, even in so-called quality productions. There's this ghastly kind of tyranny of the well-made film that does not exist in Ken. Ken's films are unique to him. They could not have been made by anybody else. No one else could even have made one frame of them. They're recognizable instantly. And they're very powerful, and they've lasted.